Welcome to Razep Africa, the heartbeat of the continent in one show. Here, we celebrate Africa not as a headline, but as a home full of ideas, courage, flavor, and future. This is where we talk about everything Africa. The politics that shape our nations, the innovations that shift our economies, the culture that colors our lives, the challenges we face with honesty, and the victories we are building one story at a time. On this show, no topic is swept aside. We are unfiltered and we are intentional. We bring you experts from across the continent and the world. Voices that know, voices that live the African experience, voices that are shaping the next chapter of our story. Let your spirit rise. We don't just tell Africa's story, we own it. Join Joy Asonye on Razep Africa, Monday to Friday at 11 a.m. to 12 noon on Global Television.
And it is the first day in the month of June, and I'm very glad to be here. Welcoming you to Razep Africa show of Razep Media on Global TV this wonderful morning. Happy New Month. Meanwhile, I'm not here alone, so Joy Asonye joins me this morning, and we're going to be talking a whole lot about what's happening in Africa. And of course, we'll also bring it down to Nigeria. But let's start with some conversations this morning. Let me come over to you, Joy. Good morning.
Hi. Good morning.
Happy New Month.
It's always exciting to be here, of course. And Happy New Month.
Yeah.
I said that to someone. Is like it's such a Nigerian thing. Nobody remembers the new month, and there's a hula baloo. Your phones are all.
Yeah, of course.
You're
That's
inundated
true.
with several Happy New Month, but it's a Nigerian thing, it's an African thing, and I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Happy
definitely,
New Month to everyone. It's June.
Yeah,
Can
it's
you
June.
believe that 2026
It's June.
is
already in June.
We're here already.
Oh, little wonder why politicians, I don't know why I keep talking about them, but maybe because, of course, they're leaders. No, little wonder why already, before we could know when it was, they had already started talking about 2027, even 2025. So, because, of course, it looks as though the year runs very, very fast and quickly. So, Joy, once again, Happy New Month.
Happy New Month to you too, and Happy New Month to everyone. I'm hoping that this month will come with blessings, will come with protection, and above everything, get the young children that were abducted out of captivity.
Yeah.
That's something I cannot
Very
get my
important.
mind out of.
Yeah. Very important. And you know, Joy, I'm thinking the new month, the month of June, comes with a whole lot because it actually came just after our Muslim brothers ended their prayers and the children's celebration.
Absolutely.
And then here are we
Absolutely.
in the new month. Let me welcome you once again to the month of June as we get started. Begin today in Nigeria, and this is the African News Update, where the opposition Nigeria Democratic Congress (NDC) has named Peter Obi as a presidential candidate for the 2027 election, setting up a rematch of the three-way contest that defined the 2023 poll. Obi will again face Bola Tinubu of the ruling All Progressives Congress, the APC, and Atiku Abubakar of the African Democratic Congress, the ADC. The former two-term governor of the southeastern Anambra State was declared candidate by the relatively new NDC, which officially registered in February. Mr. Obi named Mr. Rabiu Kwankwaso as his running mate as the vice presidential candidate. Meanwhile, Obi won 25% of the vote in the last poll on the back of his social media-driven obedience movement, coming third after Atiku. In other parts of Africa now, lawmakers in Benin have unanimously adopted a reform which strengthens the fight against fake banknotes. It also increases penalties against traders and individuals refusing to accept notes and coins issued by the Central Bank of West African State, which includes those that are slightly damaged but still valid. Fines and prison sentences are planned for those who refuse legal tender or who apply excessive fees to exchange them. The new law also provides for prison sentence of 10 to 20 years for people involved in the counterfeiting or falsification of banknotes and coins. In addition, they may be fined up to 10 times the value of the seized currency, with a minimum of 20 million francs CFA. And the crackdown on the circulation of the fake banknote has also been strengthened. The president of the Finance Committee told Parliament the bill was part of modernization of sanctions and to take into action new forms of financial crime. Now, counting is underway in Guinea after Sunday's legislative and municipal elections. The vote marks a new step towards the return of democratic rule after the 2021 coup that brought President Mamadi Doumbouya to power. 7 million of votes were eligible to elect 147 members of parliament, but the turnout was reportedly low in the capital, Conakry, and the central city of Labe. Most candidates were drawn from the presidential camp after the government dissolved the main opposition parties in March. One opposition party, the Democratic Front of Guinea Frontec, which placed second in the presidential election in December with a 6.6% vote share, denounced an assault on one of its candidates in the central town of Mahmoud. The party said the Abdoulaye Bandaba Dalo was attacked in a restaurant on Saturday evening by two hooded individuals on a motorcycle. The campaign unfolded peacefully but turned out in polls taking place just days after the major religious holidays of Eid al-Adha, where Guineans gathered with their families. But still, campaign posters of Ethiopia's Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed Prosperity Party line the road leading to his birth town of Bashasha, where he is a local hero. Residents point to the recent development project as signs of change has been seen despite its modest size. The town benefits from the modernization project and construction works that Abiy has done in the main devoted of the major cities and certain specific remote areas. Houses and a library have sprung up, and numerous brand new small shops line the impeccable way of the road, the nearest major town in Oromia. Meanwhile, initially feted globally for his democratic reforms, the 2009 Nobel Prize Peace laureate then presided over a civil war in Tigray and ongoing ethnic insurgencies. Still on Ethiopia, Ethiopia went to the polls on Monday with the Prosperity Party PP of incumbent Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed set for a landslide win. In power since 2018, Abiy is criticized for growing authoritarian and a crackdown on dissent, in contrast to his early years in power, where he won the Nobel Peace Prize for mending relations with neighboring Eritrea. Opposition parties and analysts fear this election will be even less and lesser open than previous that was seen by opposition disarray. As the Democratic Republic of Congo continues its fight against Ebola, women are in the front line. In the last outbreak, women accounted for 2/3 of cases due to their traditional role in many communities. According to a statement published by UN Women last week, women have been overrepresented in Ebola death for the last 50 years, and health workers say this outbreak will likely follow the same pattern. On Sunday, authorities said the number of confirmed cases in the DRC has risen to 282, the vast majority in Ituri province, 15 in the North Kivu, and 3 in the South Kivu. Furthermore, Uganda has also confirmed 9 cases of the virus, but 5 patients have recovered from the disease. And lastly, but still on health, the World Health Organization Director General Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus on Sunday attended the opening of a new Ebola treatment center in the eastern Congolese city of Bunia. The provincial capital of Ituri is the epicenter of the current outbreak of a rare strain of the virus, which is spreading faster than the response despite better organized health facilities and aid arrivals. Speaking at the opening of the Terrors held 5 recoveries from the deadly virus, the first of which was documented on Friday. The virus, the current kind of Ebola, has no approved specific treatment or vaccine. Furthermore, the Congolese government say a team of doctors and nurses will be sent to staff the facility, including intensive care specialists with Kinshasa and a local team composed of government partners. Meanwhile, the facility will admit all Ebola patients from in and around Bunia. And that is where we draw the curtain for African News Update this morning on Razep Africa. We'll take you now to the discussion segment. Do not go anywhere. Stay tuned. I am Wime and Netia. Good morning.
Welcome to Razep Africa, the heartbeat of the continent in one show. Here, we celebrate Africa not as a headline, but as a home full of ideas, courage, flavor, and future. This is where we talk about everything Africa. The politics that shape our nations, the innovations that shift our economies, the culture that colors our lives, the challenges we face with honesty, and the victories we are building one story at a time. On this show, no topic is swept aside. We are unfiltered and we are intentional. We bring you experts from across the continent and the world. Voices that know, voices that live the African experience, voices that are shaping the next chapter of our story. Let your spirit rise. We don't just tell Africa's story, we own it. Join Joy Asonye on Razep Africa, Monday to Friday at 11 a.m. to 12 noon on Global Television. Welcome to Razep Africa, the heartbeat of the continent in one show. Here, we celebrate Africa not as a headline, but as a home full of ideas, courage, flavor, and future. This is where we talk about everything Africa. The politics that shape our nations, the innovations that shift our economies, the culture that colors our lives, the challenges we face with honesty, and the victories we are building one story at a time. On this show, no topic is swept aside. We are unfiltered and we are intentional. We bring you experts from across the continent and the world. Voices that know, voices that live the African experience, voices that are shaping the next chapter of our story. Let your spirit rise. We don't just tell Africa's story, we own it. Join Joy Asonye on Razep Africa, Monday to Friday at 11 a.m. to 12 noon on Global Television.
Welcome back from that. This is Razep Africa, where we have taken the conversation to discuss security, the dwindling or seemingly dwindling security situation in Nigeria. And today we are confronted with grave security crisis, especially one that just happened in Oyo State, where a devastating wave of kidnappings has struck, with school children abducted en masse, and just recently a major general and his wife also taken. In response, President Tinubu has deployed 3,000 forest guards to the region, a bold move, but one that echoes past efforts that have fallen short. We've recorded several instances like this, and today we explore the historical context, the current statistics, and the broader implications of these abductions for national security. Joining us is a security consultant and the CEO, Stick Marie. I hope I'm getting that right. Stick Mirak, yeah. Dr. Steve Okori, who will help us unpack this very important conversation around the solutions and maybe finally breaking this circle of school children abductions, abductions of individuals and all of that. Thank you so much for joining us, Steve.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Right. Now, from your perspective, I guess the first, I'll just go straight to, as a security consultant, why do these mass abductions, especially school kidnappings, persist despite the challenges and the leadership and security chiefs that have changed? I remember one time experts like you really criticized President Muhammad Buhari for not changing his service chiefs, and here we have one that has changed, and we're still having these persistent security breaches.
Yeah, well, let me start by saying that a society without crime is impossible. Emily Duncan, a French sociologist and philosopher, said that a society without crime is inevitable.
Right.
Yeah, by Emily Duncan. Emily Duncan is a French sociologist and a philosopher. Now, having said that, I'm not expecting a utopian society where everything is expected to be perfect. First of all, I'm a sociologist before I became a security consultant. I am aware that we have deviance in our society where you don't expect everybody within a society to go according to what the law of the society says.
Okay.
Some persons will decide to go against what the law of the land says. And here we are being confronted with some individuals in this country have decided to become deviants, and they have become marauders and criminals carrying out these acts of criminality on our people, on Nigerians. I don't know if it's your show, but I think when these service chiefs were appointed by Mr. President, I said it categorically that we shouldn't expect a drastic reduction in the rate of crime.
I think I remember that.
Yeah. And even when this new IGP was also appointed, I also said that it is not a means or a measure where crime will reduce drastically. But I expect that bringing new sets of service chiefs and including the new IGP on board, I know that they are coming with some vision, new ideas, strategies and all that. So one will expect a decline, not escalation. Because right now what we're seeing is escalation, particularly with adoption of school children. Adoption of school children is not new to us at the moment. I think we're about 12 years old with regards to adoption of school children. The first adoption was in the Chibok. That was in 2014. We're in 2026, I think that's about 12 years now. Right, and we've been experiencing a series of adoption of school children. So we have our history, regardless that the number of years is small. But I know that we have our history. We've had our experiences with regards to adoption of school children, and the current reality that is confronting us today. The latest is the Oyo case. So it means that we would have used these 12 years, to be able to put in measures, a legal framework, some stuff up, to see how to confront these issues rather than being reactive. Because each time this adoption of school children happen, we are always reacting. The government and security agencies and the people that has the tax to see that adoption of school children don't happen. I don't think they are doing what is expected of them as government and as an institution. The principal, the vice principal and the children, the federal government got into that community 16 days after adoption of these school children.
Very unfortunate.
Very, very unfortunate. And for me, it makes no sense. It means that the government does not have that empathy. Right. I think that it is something, even the governor of the state, it took him almost 2 weeks before he drove into that community.
Exactly.
Posting the video of his entrance into that community. For me, I felt very disappointed. Because when we look at the section of the Constitution that talks about security and welfare of citizens of this country, and it's the primary responsibility of government. So for me, it is complete failure
exactly.
on the part of both federal, state, and local government.
Really unfortunate. I mean, the very first statement I heard from the governor was absolving himself, almost as if to say, listen, I don't have the capacity to fight crime in my state, and so I can't do much about this situation. That was the first, that seemed like the very first conversation we got from the governor. Meanwhile, in 2014, the Nigerian federal government, after the abduction of the 276 Chibok girls, launched what they call the Safe School Initiative. It was supposed to be some initiative that was in partnership with, I think, the United Nations. We had the international development partners, Nigerian security leaders were supposed to partner on this initiative. The objective was, of course, to protect schools from terrorist and criminal attacks, deploy maybe the civil what's it called now, NSCDC, civil defense personnel to schools. And what's going on with that? It's really appalling that since the Chibok girl, I mean, it wasn't the first time, but that was the one that brought into prominence this very unfortunate trend. But after that, we relax.
You see, unfortunately, in this country, we are known for fire brigade approach. When the heat is hot, that's when they react. Now, that policy in collaboration with the UK government and all that, I think that ended in the paper. Yes, because even corruption also crept in. At some point, it was discovered that about $30 million or pounds went missing. Right. So the point here is that if that policy is actually in place, how many schools have, is that policy working? Because each time these bandits or criminals or terrorists go to schools to take children away, nobody stops them. They go into these schools
Unfettered.
they have their, field, they even go to the extent of even killing, like look at the case of the Kebbi girls.
Yes.
They even killed the vice principal,
Yes.
killed the guard, the security guard or something. No measures is in place that in the event where these criminals come, we have XYZ guards down on ground that are equipped, well equipped, armed with arms and ammunition to be able to confront or challenge these people. Nobody challenges them. And unfortunately, most of the schools that they go are schools that are very vulnerable to these attacks. These schools are in our rural and semi-rural communities. When if you go to these communities, you will not see the presence of security agents. You won't see the presence of, it is when this damage is done, you begin to see the deployment of tactical squad or intelligence squad by the police, by the military to this crime scene. When the damage is done, for me, that is medicine after death. What are the preventive measures we are putting in place as government to see that this crime or these adoptions don't happen? Look at, if you go to the social media space, you will weep. No parent, no human being will see the pictures, gory pictures of
Very
children.
gory, how they are
To how they are tortured, and we have leaders in this country. They will go to bed, sleep with their two eyes closed. They even snore. For those ones that snore, it means anybody that snores goes
deep
into sleep.
And you sleep as leaders. What they are interested in is to see how they return in 2027. Candidates maneuvering their ways and all that. That is the interest of people that are called political leaders in this country. We have children in captivity, like the Oyo State case, and the vice president paid a solemn homage with about 22 state governors to the president in Lagos. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
Are you also shocked? I mean, we read about, I know I'm taking more
Yeah,
time,
yeah,
this is how passionate it is for me.
Yes.
I have children, and I cannot for the life of me understand how it's going on as if nothing happened.
Yeah.
We are celebrating Salah. A couple of days ago was International Day of the Children. I could not for the life of me really celebrate children when we have some in captivity at the time. You just mentioned how it's gone business as usual. I expected teachers across the country to shut down. However, your
What
state...
impact would that make?
I mean, just to...
Maybe
to bring
that's
out-
a message.
But teachers
Yeah.
protested,
Yeah,
What
we're saying
impact?
the
When the government
children-
at the center is not active. You know what I'm saying? Now we are in a very serious situation, and unless we agree as the government that we are in a very critical situation in this country, the Global Terrorism Index, before this last one that was released, Nigeria was ranked number 6 globally in a survey that had 163 countries as the one of the most terrorized countries in the world. The recent one under this government, Nigeria got up from 6th position to number 4. And you tell me that insecurity issues is improving under this current government? What yardstick, what indices are you using to tell us that? And there are key indicators. This Institute of Economics and Peace that carry out this global terrorism survey, the number of incidents, number of attacks, number of deaths, number of kidnappings, ransom paid, these are number of injuries. These are the indices or indicators that they use as a survey to arrive at such statistics. And if you look at it, it's absolutely clear enough that Nigeria is due for that position that they ranked Nigeria number 4.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, but I don't want to cut you. However, it is a big concern for me. I want to take you back history lane, and then maybe from there we'll now come forward. Over the years, from 1999, let's even get to that point, till sometime before the kidnap of the Chibok girls in 2014, did we have security issues? If not, where did we now get it wrong? What happened? What changed the Nigerian security system? What caused us to now become vulnerable to become vulnerable to security generally?
Yeah, fantastic.
You are a security expert,
Yes.
so
Fantastic question you have asked. You see, the major security issues confronting Nigeria today, how many are they? Kidnapping, especially for ransom, banditry activities, terrorism, and all that. All started in this Fourth Republic. 1999 to date. Go and look at it. When did terrorism start? 2006. When did banditry, when did the government name this group of armed criminals, bandits? It was during the immediate past government of Muhammadu Buhari. Kidnapping started when? Around 2006. So, before now, there were insecurity issues. But unfortunately for us, under this democracy, we have decided to politicize it. Leaders have decided to politicize it. There are a lot of people in different sectors, be it at the executive, be it at the legislature, even in the security institutions, are all making money from it. So they have politicized it. When we have had instances where you hear that they are our brothers. So if our brothers do what is wrong, there is need for us to forgive them.
And people who make such comments
are in government. They are in government. Haven't you seen instances where they tell us that based on the international law, a criminal that has killed citizens of this country, innocent citizens that go about their lawful businesses, that when they come out and surrender, international law permits us to admit them back into the society. Now you are pampering these criminal elements. They have made them go through processes of rehabilitation. You have empowered them at the end of the day, either through skills and all that, neglecting the victims. Victims are either in IDP camps or somewhere languishing in pain.
Tell us something about this ideology of amnesty and reintegration. Let us know the weakness this has actually brought. Because from what you're saying, it looks as though there is some weakness it has brought even more than the gains.
Absolutely. When we talk about amnesty, I think we try to miss the narrative. Amnesty was granted in the South.
Yes.
When was his late Musa Yar'Adua was president. Of course, you are aware that then in the South,
there was an agitation.
There was an agitation. Yes. There was this complete neglect on the part of government. They were being confronted with some environmental
degradation.
Exactly, based on the oil that the companies and Nigerian NPC are going to explore from there. So they were trying to see how to draw the attention of government, to the challenges bedeviling them around their region.
So in that region, they called it amnesty.
So
in this other part?
No, in this other part, the Operation Safe Corridor that the headquarters is in Gombe at the moment, they are saying that it's based on the international law. Anybody that surrenders, any criminal that surrenders, the law allows government to admit, to accept
to reintegrate such into the society.
So yes, to reintegrate such person into the society, but the person must go through a process, and that process, you come psychologists, different experts and different fields, they come based on the policy that established that Operation Safe Corridor. You come, sieve these criminal elements. And at that point, they now categorize them into three. The non-associated member, meaning that those ones, it wasn't their wish to go into such crime.
Right.
They were either coerced, and all that. It wasn't a willingly thing. They were categorized under that non-associated member. Then they have the low risk, then you have the high risk. According to what they told me when I went to carry out some research there, the high risk are the ones that have killed, and done all that catastrophe in those communities. Those ones, they have handed them over to the Attorney General of the Federation for prosecution. Right. Then you have the low risk members. Now, I have seen situations where even the low risk members are also people that have killed. They have killed, and you are saying that because I have attended interviews where I saw on television where a former advisor to a commander who also participated in killing Nigerians was lamenting that the government, what the federal government promised them,
it had not been. Yes. I also saw that.
So what are we saying? Meanwhile, we have the Terrorism Prohibition and Prevention Act that has been going through processes of amendment and order. There are punishments contained in that act. Those punishments are meant for who? Are they not meant for human beings that commit acts of terrorism? Now you are telling us that some of them can go scot-free, based on the rate of their participation. But meanwhile, in that Terrorism Prohibition and Prevention Act, is section says that in the event where 3 of us, for instance, sit and have a conversation around carrying out acts of terrorism without necessarily carrying out the act.
Right.
For mere having that conversation, the minimum jail term is 20 years. So if you have that contained in the act.
What determines low risk and high risk for someone who has already also skilled? But let's come back to this 1,000 guards, forest guards that has been deployed. What's your assessment of their operational capacity to handle what's going on in your state at the moment? And it annoys me that when I hear the narrative behind it, it is not we are bringing efforts to rescue these children.
Right.
It was more like to ensure the safety of the people in your state. That urgency to bring these children home, it seems like it's just within this studio, unfortunately.
See, most times when I appear on a forum like this, the last time I was on Arise, I was asked questions like this. I said, you invite us, we gladly come, we profile solutions to these issues, these challenges. But who hears us? Who takes this message to the people that needs to hear us? The government, these relevant institutions that are tasked with carrying out these solutions that we profile. It's not that they don't know. Because when we begin to talk about solutions, I will definitely talk about the use of technology and some other things that I will mention here. Is it that they don't know that they need technology? Now, I'm an advocate of local policing, whether we like it or not. Crime is local. This crime, I said, it happens most times in our rural and semi-rural communities. If you go there, you don't see a policeman. Even if you see a policeman, you see him with an ordinary baton. And these guys come with sophisticated arms and ammunition. Who confronts them? Now, the idea of forest guard, for me, is a fantastic policy.
Right.
But the implementation of the policy is a snail speed one. I don't know if you understand. Snail speed. They are taking their time. Meanwhile, these criminals are not waiting. Criminals are aware that they are training forest guards.
Absolutely.
Because if you go to the news, it's there. Whatever we are doing to see how to get at these criminals.
They are doing twice. They are watching us.
The information is there in the media. If the general is moving from point A location to point B, it's on the media. I did my PhD thesis, I told you, on kidnapping for ransom. Victims told me that these criminals had radio in the forest. They're also listening to the news. They have sponsors that are in one place or the other. They also watch news. Okay, these people are planning this. Can we do this? And that is why they are always ahead, unfortunately. And that is why our own is just reactionary. When the damage is done, we begin to react. I think it's high time we decisively move from a reactive security operations to a proactive preventive strategy. Right. Because if you don't prevent, it will continue to occur.
I can't help myself, Dr. Okori. This isn't a case of not knowing what to do. Because I'm not a security expert, but I keep saying, like the gentleman whose wife is the principal of the school that was kidnapped, telling you that I'm in contact with the ransom people on WhatsApp. I'm not a security expert, and I'm not one that's planning to breach, private, but there are several applications and softwares that you can trace these people with. And I hate to ask this question, but I guess I have to. Who is to benefit when these things happen? Is it political? Is there some bigger agenda that we don't know about? Is there a reason why at all times governments seem to be dragging feet? I had a conversation with you during not good luck now, Muhammad Buhari's administration. We recorded instances like this where it seems like that there is no urgency. I was having a conversation with you before you came on air. Imagine this happened anywhere else in the world. The president will have back-to-back media parley, telling people the effort because it matters. And now in answering that question, elections are coming. Have we all normalized these kidnappings and abductions and killings to a point where we are not holding government accountable and withholding our votes? What feelers do you have from Nigerians? Are we tired yet? Does this determine how we rank or rate our public office holders yet? Because over the years, when elections come, the most superficial conversations are what takes center stage.
You see, I think we have allowed politics to play a dominant role in what we are saying with regards to security. Now people ask, do our political leaders have that will? And these are the questions that people ask. Now, I'll give you an instance. When the US pilot that went to Iran,
yes.
Do you know how much it cost the American government?
In millions.
About $500 million to rescue that one
individual,
one US citizen. So the lives of a US citizen matters a lot to the government. But when we begin to look at it in this part of the world, the lives of Nigerians matters to our political leaders. When we begin to see the display, their interest, personal interest, what they want to grab with regards to security. I watched a lady on the social media, how many Panadol tablets and how many pain relieving medicine, how many medicine that will make her sleep. With regards to she doesn't have any connection with the children in the forest. She doesn't have any. She was begging Tinubu's wife that please, you are a mother and all that. We saw the video of Patience Jonathan when they adopted the Chibok girls. In that particular time, that cry was like, Nigerians did not take it serious. You know, they were even making mockery of it. But now, do we even have one that cries?
One that even has said, let me do my bit.
We are talking about the will. Monies are the budget of defense and security in the last 2-3 budgets has been the highest. Where are the monies going? Are the monies being released? Let us ask questions, because there's need for accountability, there's need for transparency, because we cannot continue to see these things happen. Are we doing the same thing over and over again and we're expecting a different result? When Bajamia Miller was speaker in the last assembly, he constituted a special committee, a security committee, to see how to help the government of President Buhari then help address the security issues. Memorandum was sent in by different consultants, security, different stakeholders. I sent a memorandum to see how to help address insecurity issues locally.
Exactly.
Because I think that addressing it locally from the base, from the grassroots, is the way to go. It is not for this top to bottom approach to insecurity issues. Let us see how we address it from the base. Out of the 7 recommendations I made in my own memorandum,
I mean, that 4 were taken at the time.
They submitted that report to late President Muhammadu Buhari. Nothing was done on that report until he exited office. Now you are chief of staff to the current president. You could not draw the attention of Mr. President
the recommendation
to tell him about the report under your leadership. So that caused that question, the political will. He's in an office now. You see, unfortunately for us, all of us are vulnerable, irrespective of the office that you occupy.
True.
Generals are killed, commanding officers are killed by these criminal elements. A couple of days ago, a retired major general and his wife. When you occupy these offices, you think you are brave.
You're absolving yourself from what the rest of us are facing.
Now the man is held in captivity. Nobody knows how it will come out. In this country, a general, former DG of NYSC, was also picked. He spent 56 days in captivity. His classmates in the ND, they opened a WhatsApp platform. Monies were donated for ransom to be paid on his behalf. In the last 1 year, 2.56 billion
has gone into ransom
payment in this country.
And of course, that also ennobles them, because you will now see them with sophisticated weapons. But there's also been conversation as to why Oyo State. It seems like there's a sharp spike in kidnappings around that area. Does it reflect regional vulnerabilities?
You see, we have no conflict zones. And don't forget that, in as much as we are here saying what we are saying or having this conversation, we cannot completely take out the effort that the military and the police are doing in this regard. Whether we like it or not, they are making some efforts. Right. So these guys, they are leaving conflict zones to non-conflict zones. Kwara wasn't the way it is now. They have entered Kwara and carrying out these acts of this mayhem. They have crept into Ekiti. They have gone into Oyo. This is how they keep spreading. Because as they advances, nobody
stopping them.
Yes.
Stops them.
They go unfettered. No
They
blockage.
go on bikes, 200, 300 bikes. They ride these bikes in our local. They go through our local communities. And wherein lies the community policing initiative that the government and the police went to borrow from the US. I recall in 2018 when they wanted to launch the community policing initiative, President Buhari, 18 billion naira was spent for the launch. What is the launch about?
To gather people and say this is what I want to do.
You are not buying any equipment. Community policing is for the police to have this
sense of
constant interaction with members of communities, local communities. In the event where you see something, you can tell us this is the channel. Do we even have an effective communication channel? In the event where you see something that an ordinary citizen and you want to pass such information to the police,
right.
There's no avenue. Do we have any emergency plan? The police invited me some couple of years ago, I think in 2024 or so, with regards to this school adoption, that should come and talk about the role of stakeholders, the responsibility of stakeholders in crisis situation with regards to school adoption. When I went in there, when I asked 1, 2, 3 questions, they couldn't answer me in the hall. It's not about doing it, the planning at the top. It must trickle down. This crisis happened in our local communities. How many schools have we adopted children in the city?
No, not that we
And they're planning in the city, and the thing does not trickle down to the local communities where this crime happened. So why are we're planless? I try to draw the attention to it, but unfortunately for us in this country, when you're out there telling them the truth, I'm a researcher. I don't know if you know that I lecture in the Army University.
Oh, I know that.
So when we carry research and all that, they think you just come and just begin to talk blindly. I train officers. So if I can train officers and I say this is solution to the issues and all that, I think they should be able to listen to us, those of us from the academia.
So our other concern would be what you talked about earlier. You said something about monies being sent, to see how to cushion the effect of these security issues. And one of them that comes to my mind so much is the one that a lot of government will tell you they never account for it, what they call the security votes. Why are we not having this accounted for? And maybe the other one would be, so that you can give me both responses at once. Are we seeing Nigeria becoming better security-wise?
Okay, let me answer the last before I get to the first one that you said. We've been talking here the last 30 or 45 minutes or so, or thereabout. We've been looking at the issues bedeviling Nigeria security-wise. Nigeria left 6th position to number 4 global terrorism. I've told you how many was paid as ransom collected, 2.56 billion. So you and I,
is there any hope for the common Nigerian?
Are the common Nigerians not in captivity as we speak? Who has the confidence to move from one location to another in this country as we speak? You move from one location to another with your heart in your mouth. I traveled all the way from Biu, that's where the university is, to Abuja. It's about 13 hours journey. So just imagine that kind of trip. You are passing through crisis areas in a country that is blessed with abundant resources, both human and natural. And we are here talking about these security issues. How many are these criminal elements in this country?
That seem to have overwhelmed the entire security architecture.
That, taking over the whole country. The Navy SEAL came all the way from US some couple of years ago to rescue one of their own that was kidnapped in Niger and brought and kept somewhere around Borno State. They came. What did they use? Technology. All the way from US came, picked the guy. They didn't shoot anybody because they took the kidnappers unaware. Here we are, videos on social media, Nigerian children treated as if they are not in their country. You will see a robber, fire on it. They were dropping it on the bodies of these children. And the idiot, bandit or whatever criminal was laughing.
Video.
And that video is on the social media space. This is 3 weeks. We are in the third week.
And Nigerians are talking about 2027.
Talking about 2027. The federal government delegation went to that community in a chopper. They could not use the chopper to say, okay, let us comb the forest. Let us know where these people are. Why are we not using technology that other countries are using that is beneficial? Why are we not using technology? But if you insult the president today here,
you will go to jail
they will know where you are. I was on Arise, I said something, I came out, somebody called me, warning me that I should mind the way I talk on national television. So the point here is that, how do you get my number? So if you can get my number to call me, or get the numbers of other people that criticize government and you go after them, use that same technology to go after these criminals. How educated are they? How ready are they? Are they more
How trained are they?
Do they have these resources more than government? That we cannot use our own to buy the most recent technology to be able to track, to know where these people are. Who sends this video? Who shoots the video? Which phone? Which phone? Videos. The number. The IAA number. The line that sends the video to the social media aspect. And they keep
the data is bought from.
And I wanted to ask before we were really running out of time. So my last question would be, what
let's talk about security vote.
Right.
You see, when you have a government that distances itself from accountability, these are the situations you find ourselves. Every state governor takes security vote. What's that vote meant for? It is not less than 3-4 billion naira that goes to each state every month. What do they use those resources for? Let me tell you something. When I hear governors hide under that narrative that they are not chief security officers, they don't have power to command. But you have powers to summon a security council meeting at your state, where commissioners of state, heads of brigade or garrison will come. The head of immigration will come. Customs will come. You have meetings with them. Which other powers do you need?
Okay, Dr. Koring, I guess my last question would be, you had developed an app, a software at the time to address some of this, to pinpoint where everything is going on. I remember, what are we doing with that? Because that was a beautiful app that could locate, could have located these kidnapped victims very easily. Absolutely. And located the kidnappers, and subtly and discreetly.
Yes. And it takes beautiful question you have asked. And this question is breaking my heart now, because my heart has been broken as regards with the app that I developed, with the partnership with some of my friends in the US. That app, the idea came after my interaction with kidnappers and victims. So it was an idea. So okay, with this, we can know location of victims when they are in captivity. I did that app. I wrote a letter to the Office of the National Security Advisor. Having introduced myself and my partners, told them that an app like this and all that. I did that same letter to the Nigerian Governors Forum and some other relevant security agencies in this country. None of them invited me to come. Let us talk about this app, apart from the DSS.
Okay. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. We'll always bring you back to discuss more, but this is it. Thank you so much, Dr. Steve Okori, for always coming to give, your insight into what's going on. And I really hope that they are listening to you, and we will do something about the abducted children. I really pray that these young children get themselves back and back to safety. But that's it for Razep Africa. I am Joy Asoye.
I'm Humanity. Do have a wonderful week.